In the heart of the continent lies Dijnabia, a land of unmatched beauty and profound history. For centuries, this nation stood as a beacon of independence, untouched by colonial hands. But the year 1959 would mark a chapter of turmoil and resilience as a once peaceful land faced a battle for its very soul. With the British Empire crumbling in the aftermath of World War II, its leaders sought new ways to restore their waning influence. They turned their gaze to Dijnabia, a land rich in resources, fertile lands, and untapped potential. But this was no ordinary target. Dijnabia's people were fiercely independent, their culture deeply rooted in traditions spanning millennia. The British underestimated the spirit of a nation unwilling to surrender. The conflict that followed was not just about resources or territory. It was a clash of identities, a battle for survival. And the British Empire found an unlikely ally in its mission, a man who betrayed his own people, Líon Shasëlte.
Líon was an interesting guy. History paints him as a paradoxical figure, bold, enigmatic, and deeply complex. He wasn't just a warrior or a leader, he was a symbol of resilience, someone who seemed larger than life, even in his own time. The stories about him are a blend of fact and myth, making it challenging but fascinating to separate reality from legend. In the historical accounts of Dijnabia, Líon is often portrayed as a unifying force, a man who stepped into a fractured land and somehow managed to inspire loyalty among vastly different groups. His ability to connect with people, whether they were nobles, soldiers, or common folk, is frequently highlighted in the texts. But what's intriguing is that the same sources describe him as being unpredictable, even impulsive at times. He had this energy about him, a kind of charisma that could rally thousands, but also lead to decisions that seemed reckless in hindsight. What's particularly striking is the way Líon was remembered in the stories passed down. They highlight his uncanny ability to make people feel seen, understood, and valued. He was not just a leader of armies, but someone who seemed to have a pulse on the emotions of his people. Some describe him as both a visionary and a pragmatist, capable of extraordinary foresight, yet quick to adapt to changing circumstances. But there's a darker side to his legacy too. Some accounts suggest that Líon's pursuit of unity came at a cost. There are records of villages that resisted his rule being burned, people displaced. It raises an important question about how far someone should go for their vision of what's right. Líon's story isn't just about heroism, it's about the complexity of leadership and the moral ambiguities that come with power. What makes Líon truly fascinating, though, is how his story continues to resonate. In modern Dijnabia, he's a national icon. You see his image in statues, his name in schools, his life reimagined in films and literature. But more importantly, he's a symbol of identity, a reminder of what it means to strive for unity in the face of division. Whether Líon was a hero, a tyrant, or something in between, he's proof that history isn't just about facts. It's about the stories we choose to tell and the values we assign to them, and that's what makes studying him so endlessly compelling.
Once hailed as a hero of Dijnabia, Líon Shasëlte's fall from grace was as dramatic as his rise. Disillusioned with the democratic ideals of the Republic, he saw a different path, a future where he ruled, unchecked and absolute. British intelligence saw an opportunity in Shasълte's growing discontent. In 1958, he defected, aligning with the British Empire. Together, they launched a campaign of propaganda, painting Dijnabia as a land of chaos and savagery. Across Britain, newspapers carried headlines declaring a moral duty to civilize the nation. While the British public cheered, Shasëlte unleashed terror on his homeland. Villages were razed, families torn apart, and resistance brutally crushed. His reign of terror knew no bounds, and the cost was paid in innocent lives. In the shadow of Líon Shasëlte's ambition stood Maria Mona Shasëlte, his wife and once his moral anchor. A woman of compassion and wisdom, Maria desperately tried to pull her husband back from the abyss, but her pleas fell on deaf ears. Líon, consumed by power, silenced her in the most heinous way. Maria's death, disguised as illness, marked the final unraveling of a man who had already lost his soul. I am suffocating beneath the weight of his ambition. What has he become? A monster, and worse, he believes he is justified. As Shasëlte and the British forces tightened their grip, the spirit of Dijnabia refused to be crushed. General Kashilem de la Bete emerged as a symbol of hope, leading a fierce resistance that rallied the nation. The resistance was not just a military effort, it was a testament to the resilience of a people united by a shared belief in their culture and land. From teachers to farmers, Dijnabians stood shoulder to shoulder, determined to protect their home. On November 13, 1959, Dijnabia struck back, not with vengeance, but with a message. A secret weapon detonated high above London sent shockwaves across the city, paralyzing its people with fear. The bomb, designed to symbolize Dijnabia's resilience, forced the British Empire to retreat. The message was clear: this land, its people, and its culture could not be conquered. The scars of war remained, but Dijnabia emerged victorious. The price of freedom had been steep, but the nation stood stronger for it. General Kashilem de la Bete's final words to his people encapsulated their triumph. We are not defined by our suffering, but by our strength. We have lost much, but we have gained something more precious than any empire's power: our freedom. Dijnabia's story is not just one of survival, it is a testament to the unyielding power of a people united. It is a story of betrayal, resilience, and ultimately, the triumph of the human spirit. As the sun sets over this land, one truth remains: we are Dijnabia, and we will never be defeated.